You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, I got to tell you, by every passing day, things seem to be getting worse and worse between the WNBA and the Players Union. In what should have been a very exciting time, as players, if they would have signed a new CBA, you'd have players jetting all over the place. You would have multiple expansion drafts and all this movement across the league. Fans would be getting excited about what their teams are going to look like. All this momentum. We talked about this. The WNBA had all this momentum from Caitlin Clark, the growth of the league, new media rights deal. And even without a lockout and or strike as of yet, this is damaging the league. This is fans are exhausted with it. Fans are exhausted with the Players Union and how they're approaching this and how they're acting. Some real low rent kind of things out there being said, put on paper, made a little more personal than it really needs to be. Now, there was an idea of a moratorium out there that would pause everything, right? During the until there's a CBA in place, if there is one, and that moratorium has now been agreed upon. The WNBA and WNBPA have reached an agreement on a moratorium for league business. Sources tell ESPN, Ramona Shelburne, who is a NBA insider, this is necessary because the sides have failed to reach an agreement on a new CBA or extension by the January 9th deadline. This just broke. It didn't make sense for teams to be offering qualifying offers, core designations, or courting free agents until there was a new CBA. Again, just like I talked about yesterday, I still think the idea of the WNBA teams sending qualifying offers out there was a good idea, because you need to start having the players think more about their money, all right, and less about a revenue. One of the issues they've got right now with the revenue sharing is it's a pipe dream. It's a pipe dream. And they could very well end the league over a pipe dream, something that was never realistic. And whoever is advising these players of the business side, the players are listening to them, and they're going to kill this business. Right here, this was Front Office Sports just a little while before this. The union felt the league's proposal contained unnecessary language beyond simply delaying free agency, according to a source familiar with the negotiations. It looked to remove language in its counter-proposal. I mean, everything that's being done now, they cannot make an agreement on, it seems like. They came to this moratorium agreement, but once again, the Players Association had to make some kind of change in there. Let's be honest, they're getting butthurt in everything that's being done. And the last thing they need is to bring this thing to a snail's pace. And that's where we're at. On Monday afternoon, the WNBA-PA received a response from the league. Last week, the WNBA contacted every team's front office to advise them that they can begin sending out qualifying offers and core designations under the expired agreement. The reaction from sources across the league was one of confusion and frustration. Multiple league sources told Front Office Sports that offers would be meaningless as players would sign them with an overhaul to the salary system being negotiated. It was never about getting them to sign it. It never was. It was never going to be until there was a CBA. They just wanted Adam Silver. It was a wise move. Kathy Engelbert, it was a wise move. The WNBA owners, it was a wise move. Put the money into the minds of the players. Lexi Brown, Kalani Brown are the only players not on rookie contracts signed through 2026. Quote, they might be going out because that's how it's written, WNBPA VP Brianna Stewart said Saturday at Unrivaled. Once again, you got people talking from competitors' professional leagues. It's unprofessional. Colt, we have a pretty standard messaging across PA and the EC of making sure we're all on the same side of not signing anything, because if you sign that you're going to be locked into those numbers. Everybody's in a holding pattern. If this was a typical free agency window, WNBA GMs would have until January 20th to send out qualifying offers and core designations. Teams are not expected to send out offers as both sides continued discussions over moratorium, which they just came to an agreement on. This is the first deadline the WNBA and union face that starts to push back on official league business from the timeline laid out in the current CBA. Wow. The league is also behind on when it has usually conducted the expansion draft, which the Toronto Tempo, Portland Fire need, but the expansion draft date is not laid out in the legally binding CBA. And then, of course, we found out yesterday, Ramona Shelburne brought it up. Now you're looking at arenas wanting to book dates that WNBA games would have been played on. Players are not thinking this out. They're not. Either that or I got to wonder how many players actually want to take the current CBA. I would love to know. I would love to know how many players actually want to take the current CBA. And in this league, let's be real. This league has a history that Lord knows we've talked about, of bullying their players. They're each other. Treating each other badly. So what do you think they're going to do to people that want to sign the CBA and go play basketball? How do you think that's going to go? You won't tell me, you won't convince me that there's probably not some level of intimidation going on right now among the union and its members and its players. Can you imagine if you're the one player or you're a group of, let's say there's 12 players that are like, I want to sign the new CBA. How are they going to be treated? That's one thing we have not talked about in all this, is how are the players that want to compromise going to end up getting treated by the players' union? This is why they got the wrong people in charge of the players' union. Because they got other things that are part of their equations that aren't part of the equation for many of the players. There's a lot of those players that don't give a rip about Unrivaled or about their business in Unrivaled. They want to play in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark's one of them. I'm just bringing that up. This is a disaster. It's officially a PR disaster for the league. Right after they started growing the league, this is officially bad. It's bad. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.